Welcome back to Solomon's Porch with your host Jason,
And Shawn.
and we are joined with a special guest here for an interview. He's got an upcoming album. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the name of that album because I'm going to need you to explain that to me. But we have Mr. DJ LostnFound. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's good to have you on. I've seen you kind of more so in the past like 2 years. I've been seeing your name pop up a lot more,
Yeah.
and then so you got this new project drop in with 50 artists. And I'm just trying to think, like doing my own project with just one. Well, I had a couple features, but
hmm
that's a lot of project management going on there. So,
Boy, yeah. It is. It is. Yeah.
so yeah, man. Just so first of all, just kind of let our people know, who you are, kind of how you got into music,
hmm
and what's the difference between a DJ and a regular artist.
Interesting. Okay. So for myself, I started in music at 15. Like most boys, I was going to my friend's house. We'd play Halo every day, right? And then one day they just started playing on this software. And I'm like, okay, what are you guys doing? This is a phase, it'll pass. And they kept playing it. So it ended up being Fruity Loop software where you make beats. So I went home and I downloaded it myself. Then I started making beats and fell in love with it. So for me, it all stems from being a producer, starting at 15, getting to the point where maybe in college, I'm submitting to A&Rs, and basically I almost got a song placed at Slip and Slide Records. So if people don't know, that's the record label that like Rick Ross came from, right?
Okay, was
So
that Trick Daddies?
yeah.
Okay,
So I
okay.
almost placed a song over there. So yeah, Trick was big back then, um, and I think all of this was uh, I was growing, but at the same time I was growing away from my faith. And I got saved when I was 12. But by this time, I had walked away from the Lord. I was in college doing my thing, and he really, upon me graduating, he really kind of put a stamp on everything and stopped everything, right? So I had 11 years after college where I wasn't in music. So where you're saying like you just started hearing about me a couple years ago, for 11 years, I wasn't in music. But what he did is he kind of reset my life and put me on the right path where I started serving in my local church body. I got married. I had kids. And during that time, I was really focused on serving just the community and then in my local church body as a sound engineer. So I learned that skill there. And I still do that now to this day. That's kind of like my role in most churches is just being an engineer, and really just being a help. I think that's the spiritual gift there, is being a help. Um, but yeah, that grew into this opportunity with Caesura. So it's pronounced Caesura. The first album had 26 artists on it, and it really is to culminate the ending of that 11-year interruption. So a Caesura is an interruption or a pause in music, and it was the pause for me or that interruption where it's kind of like over now. So I'm back basically and releasing music in a different way, different capacity. Um, but it's been wonderful. Um, so to speak a little bit about the new album, yeah, like you said, it's 50 artists, man. The management that it takes for 50 artists is ridiculous. I don't think I was ready for that. Uh, but the good thing is it's been over the course of 2 years. Um, so it's really just a love letter for me to indie artists, and I really want to just expose the culture to indie artists, and also show them that we see you and you're not forgotten. And I know that the streams might not add up, but I recognize that you have talent, and I also want to tangibly invest into you. So one of the things is why I could share about the album is all of the artists were paid, except there's a few who said they just wanted to do it for the love. But all the artists were paid. They got their royalties. They got their partial ownership of the song. So I really wanted to, with this album, also kind of like set a precedent, right, on how to do business or, within the industry, because that's a huge issue that seems to be amongst us. Just not doing great business. But yeah, that's Caesura put a lid on that with Caesura. And then you asked about just being a DJ. The difference between being a DJ and an artist. I think DJs are inherently servants, right? You don't get recognition as a DJ. Maybe in the '80s you would, but nowadays, especially in CHH, there's no recognition for DJs. You may have like two or three at the top that people know. Other than that, they're not following DJs. So I think that the big difference is DJs usually just have a heart to help and to serve. And Yeah, I think the focus is more as a DJ on the artist, where for artists, probably the focus is more on the listeners. So I think that's the big difference.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I think I've always been confused because it's like you got DJ Khaled,
Yeah.
and I think most people know him as like a hype man.
hmm
So as far as your role in the project, so did you produce the songs? Did you work with other producers, get beats from them, and then put the
hmm
artists to the beats? Like, how does that creation process work?
Yeah, yeah. So what I call myself is an executive producer, but then also another popular term is curator. So just like DJ Khaled, I'm not the main producer, so I'll go out and I'll outsource beats, right? Because even though I can produce, I'm in a different place in my time now. I'm 35. I have a family, full time job, ministry, all that stuff. I don't have time to produce, right? And then also the good thing about it is you get different sounds, because I know that I'd probably fall into one sound when I was producing. But outsourcing beats, I get multiple sounds, right? And then according to what I have production wise, that kind of guides who I'm gonna reach out to, artist wise. So let's say if I have a relationship with an artist and I know that this person can write really good hooks, just by listening to their music. I might reach out to them and say, "Hey, I really need a hook for this, and here's the direction," or I may not have a direction. It all stems from fit, really, for me. Like if somebody's not a great fit, I'm not reaching out. Even if you're my best friend, I'm not reaching out. Because I don't want to hurt the music in any way just because I have a love for this person, right? So yeah, for this process, I gather the beats, I gather the artists. Sometimes I have the direction for the song, sometimes I don't, and I'll ask an artist to help me with that. Um, then even after that, the journey's not over. Once the song's done and mixed and mastered, you still have the promotion, you still have the admin work, you still have the legal work. I work with Aaron Cole, so I had to, for the first time, work with a label, and there was definitely a legal side to that. So um, yeah, man, there's a lot, and then times that by 50. So
Right,
then
right.
you get a real thought about how much work it is. Yeah, and I'm still not done with that side.
Right. So as far as working with the label, so if people that don't know, Aaron Cole is a Christian hip hop artist. He's signed to Goatee Records, which is Toby Mac's record label.
Right.
So was that more stressful than you thought? Was it about what you expected? Like, what were your thoughts going into dealing with that,
Mhm.
and the kind of the feeling you took away with?
Yeah, I'll say this: the dealing with the label it's different from dealing with indie artists, right? I expected that to be different. I won't say it was a bad experience; it was just different, and it was my first experience with a label. So I also knew that a label may come in and they kind of have their own priorities, right? So they may ask for more than the normal artist or something like that, as far as royalties and all that type of stuff. So I'll say it was a good experience. My preference, I would say, is dealing with indie artists, only because you get directly to them and you don't have to go through multiple layers of people and get paperwork signed and stuff like that. All the paperwork is between me and the artist. So yeah, the preference would definitely be indie, but at the same time, it was good. I think it was a good learning experience.
Cool deal, man. Yeah, I know. I think whenever he first signed to the label, a lot of people were thinking like, XYZ. They had these thoughts and expectations and all that, and but it seems like it's working good for him. So I'm happy for him,
Right.
And then it's dope that you were able to get him on because it shows that you know Goatee Records is cool with working with CHH, with other
Oh yeah.
artists, with
Hmm.
indie producers at
Hmm.
that. So yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Now, so the album drops September 2nd,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And you've been lots of platforms. We're grateful you were able to hop on Solomon's Porch and chit chat about it. So what was the most difficult part in keeping the organizational aspect to it? Because for people that don't know, like when you do music, you got beat stems, you got artist stems, you
Hmm.
got just you got like when you got free. Do you use Fruity Loops now?
No, no, I don't. I would like to learn how to mix and master on Fruity Loops, but at this point, I get in there and it doesn't make sense to me anymore. I don't know. After 10 years, it just doesn't make sense to me anymore, and I can't do the most simple things that I used to do. So at this point, no, I just use a basic, I guess you could say, like mixing platform. So
Gotcha. Good. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. For 10 years, I don't understand Shawn anymore either. Well, I don't think I really understood him to begin with, but
right, right.
yeah.
I don't even understand me anymore.
It's
But
standard.
so what was your trick secret kind of your technique for keeping everything organized? Because I think the first thing I'm thinking logistics. Like I just couldn't imagine like even doing just 10 songs for my project
Mhm.
with me and like 6 artists. It was kind of hectic enough. So what was your kind of secret sauce?
Yeah, I think little at a time, right? I'm not working on 18 songs all at once. Throughout this 2 years, there were times that things were really slow, and then that I would capitalize on that and work on maybe some of the more admin stuff, um, or even logistics as far as like kind of casting, like vision casting, like where do I want to go, who do I want on this song, because I can take a long time to reach out, to somebody. I don't get a beat and right away reach out to artists, right? I want to make sure that I'm getting the right artist that's like the perfect fit for the song. And then even that doesn't always work together. So I think one of the biggest frustrations, unfortunately, is like getting somebody to say yes, right, and then they don't show up. That's rough.
Mm,
So I've definitely had that, and toward the end of the project when I was kind of in a rush, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna, finish on time. I had some people who kind of backed out last minute, and it actually changed the direction on one song at a track that I want to do an all female cipher, and it was going to be the first record on the album. I really wanted to highlight women and highlight the ladies of CHH. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that because I had either people said no or people said yes and then backed out. So, that was unfortunate, but I still would like to do that at some point. But yeah, that's the biggest frustration is having a plan and then somebody saying yes. If you say no off the bat, it's cool. I'll go to somebody else. But if you say yes and then back out, it kind of, for me, at least mentally building the song, it changes everything for me. And I'm like, okay, now I've got to, maybe I reached out to you because you have like a more raspy voice to play off of somebody else who has like a higher voice.
mm.
Now I have to think about, do I go try to get somebody who would fit that same sound, or do I just worry about the skill level? So yeah, it's a lot, but that the first thing I learned making these albums is they're called projects for a reason, and they really are projects. And especially when you're doing something that is this ambitious, things are gonna fall through the cracks. Things for me fall through the cracks. So I also try to show grace because I know that I'm not perfect. I know that I mess up. So I don't. That's another thing that skill I think that you really work on with something of this size is learning grace. So
So you were talking earlier about having the beat.
yeah.
You sit on it for a while, then try to figure out which artist. Do you? So is your process? You have the beats, and then you have an idea for how you want the song to be, go,
Hmm.
theme, content, and then you think of the artists that would fit good with that, pick
Right,
them out, reach out to
exactly.
them.
So I start with production. So I had the sound of the album before I even had artists on the album. Um, for the most part, I would say I had about 75% of the just the beats ready, and then what I'll do is I even made the track listing. That's one of the first things I do. So, I think being a producer and being a DJ and curator, I kind of attack it probably in a different way than most people, where I do start with the production and then I go out to the artists. And from there, like I said, I may have a concept for a song, I may not. There's been some songs where I reached out to like a brother that I'm like, yo, I really need some help. Or I'll shout out Shawn. He's somebody who I will probably work with on every album. Not only because he's a brother in Christ, but also because I can go to him if I'm completely stumped and be like, "Yo, I need you to work your magic," and it gets done. So yeah, it's all about, like I said, it's relationship, fit on the song, and definitely starts with the production aspect.
Right, right. So let me ask you this. So do you build a personal relationship with everybody first, or there's some artists where you just reach out, say, "Hey, I like the way you sound.
Mhm.
Would love to have you on this track." What's that process?
Yeah, yeah. So throughout this whole process, right, even before I started making music, I was just serving people, right, in any capacity that I could. So I started off in radio as a DJ, so that connected me to artists, and then also after that, I also served as an intern for the New H2O. So it's kind of like a sister media outlet, I guess you could say, to like Rapzilla. So I worked there, and basically what I did every week was I put out an article of the top 10 indie artists or indie songs of the week. Um, and that really helped me to connect to a lot of artists, and a lot of artists who I did not know beforehand. We kind of at least became cordial, right? So that was the first start and step. And then for the album, for artists that I don't know, and the majority of these artists, excuse me, I don't know. Um, yeah, reach out, send a very formal either email or DM, telling them about the project, give them as many details as I can, and then making sure that I give them every intention, right? So they knew off the bat, hey, I'm paying you for this, you're getting royalties for this. I want to give you partial ownership. I gave them like the vision for the album. Um, so off the bat, even artists that I didn't know, let's see, like who's on the album that I didn't know? Let's say like an Aaron Cole, right? Um, that whole thing came about because somebody was texting me, asking me about the album, why I was doing it, what was the heart behind it, and I shared that heart with them, and went on about my business. And the next morning, I wake up and there's a text like, "Hey, would you like to have Aaron Cole on the album?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course. Like, who's gonna say no to that, right?"
Yeah, yeah,
And then we made it happen. So yeah, so even that was probably one of the more interesting ways that somebody got on the song. But yeah, a lot of it is either relationship or I'll just reach out business, and sometimes it becomes a relationship after that. Sometimes it's just business, and that's okay. I don't need to be your best friend just because we have a song together. I don't expect that from you. Yeah, that's the crux of it. Yeah.
yeah. I was asking that because my next question is, do you have a standard for artists that you work with as far as like social media etiquette, things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in a day and age where, you know, the character folks, the language, the types of jokes, humor, all that kind of a stuff. Do you have like a threshold of, I kind of don't want to have, like a misrepresentation of me on the album based on their social media demeanor?
Yeah, yeah. Character is important, right? If I see that you have like a crappy just character and appearance, then yeah, I'm less likely to reach out. am probably not going to reach out. The problem is a lot of times you have no idea about people's real character, right? Some of the people who appear the most Christ-like on these platforms, not so much. So that's a part of it, but it's probably a smaller percentage because even if I don't know you, then I don't want to cast any aspersions. I don't want to say hey, this is this person's character and I don't know them. I'll probably just be I'll watch, and I watch a lot, and like I said, it does take me quite a long time to reach out. So if I see craziness, probably not going to reach out, but at the same time, I would like to get to know you, so that it's not just I'm guessing at what your character is. But like I said, people have surprised me. People have really surprised me, and it has changed my thoughts and opinions of some artists. And there are some artists I definitely probably won't reach out to again, just because of the dealing with them behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, I've heard some stories. I would never share and open
Right.
about character or stuff like that, but I've
Right.
heard very, very many surprising stories about artists, and I'm like, dang man, I would have never guessed that.
Yep.
And so music is a business, so they understand on the front end, especially the bigger the artist, the more they have to protect the brand of the artist.
Right.
So you don't really know anybody until you know them.
No.
So you sent me the album early, which I thought was dope, and
Thank you.
I love the sound of it. It starts off more bangers at the beginning, and then it kind of mellows out a little bit. Now I know this is probably an impossible question to ask. Do you have a favorite?
It changes every week.
Okay.
It changes, because I actually stopped once I finished the album. I stopped listening because I've heard it probably 1,000 times already. So I stopped listening, and I wanted to wait until the album is closer to coming out. So now I'm starting to listen again. Let's see. Current favorite right now is probably Uncommon Few, just because I love ciphers, and that's kind of like how I started off the album. That's probably my favorite right now. But What's the Move has been my favorite. Foolish has been my favorite for a long time. But it jumps around, and then even some of the songs that people haven't heard, maybe my favorite for a time, even just because like one performance on it blows me away. And I really like to listen to that. So probably right now Uncommon Few, but it's gonna change. Yeah.
Okay. Was there anybody on the album that sent you their verse and it just kind of blew you away, like you weren't expecting it?
Yeah. So I reached out to Reconcile. He's one of the people, and I hit Reconcile for a hook only, and the man hit me with a verse and a hook. And then not only that, but it was crazy. So, one of the ways to my heart, man, for artists, like if you do above and beyond, like I sing your praises, right? So yeah, he went above and beyond, and then also he kept to the exact like format and like content that I wanted. And really helped me to create one of my favorite songs on the album. Yeah, so Ops was one of my favorite, and I'm sure it will because I love drill. I love drill. So you have Reconcile, Aaron Cole. As soon as I heard his verse, I knew without even it being mixed and mastered, this is gonna be golden. It's gonna be golden. And then the same for like the verses on Foolish and the hook, especially on Foolish. Stevie Rizzo, when I reached out to him, I didn't even get a chance to like give him direction on where I wanted to go, and he probably had his hook already sung and recorded and sent it back to me in 2 hours. But when I heard it, I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is going to be a great song. So I think all of those people went above and beyond. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, look, September 2nd. It's available for pre-order right now. So if you go to iTunes, I mean, I don't know how many people purchase music anymore. I still
Let's hope they do.
I purchase music from people I want to support. So that's the way I am. So I'll still buy music if, especially if it's a person that I know, a friend of mine or anything like that. I definitely go ahead and purchase it, and then I stream it so they get the streaming numbers and income and stuff like that.
Right.
So make sure you go support it. Caesura.
Yep.
Say it, Shawn. Caesar. Yeah, man. So thanks for coming on and talking about it, man. We look forward to having you part of the rest of the actual podcast. So everybody go check it out. And yeah, man, we're definitely going to have you on soon.
Thank you.